Hi, good day everyone. I'm Annalise Rubia, a student of this HM1G9. So I'm here now to discuss about the employment opportunities and qualifications in the tourism and hospitality industry. So here are the learning outcomes. First, employment opportunities in hotels and motels. Second, travel agency. Third, cruise line industry. Fourth, motor coaches. Fifth, car rental industry. And the last is gaming and entertainment industry. So let's proceed to the employment opportunities and tourism. Tourism has acquired the destination of being one of the world's largest industries. It consists of many components such as transportation, accommodation, food service, tourist destination, tourist attraction, travel brokers, as well as travel-related services. So the employment opportunity, the tourism is the largest industries in the world. So next is airlines. Airline employment is exciting and attractive to the adventurous, whether in the air or underground, servicing the career between flights. Salary leaves are relatively high in the airlines. Short-term economic stresses may cause some problems, but long-term prospects for airline careers are bright. So, airline is exciting, attractive to the adventurers. So the next is flight attendant. Flight attendant has evolved from the career that was once called stewardess, hostess, or steward. In the past, employees who fulfilled this position were young, female, unmarried, attractive, and required to the nurses. This primary responsibility of the flight attendant is to see to it that the passengers are comfortable. Travelers often from their impressions of the airlines, whether positive or negative, and their experiences with the flight attendant. So, flight attendant is no longer required to the unmarried, and it is the flight attendant is required to be average to tall in height to be able to reach towels, blankets, and small luggage that are stored on them. So, ang flight attendant, kinahanglan dyan siya nga taas. So, it is the flight attendants must be physically ready to cope with all the emergencies. So, the next is ticket agent reservation agents, clerks. Reservation agents are and clerks who work for major carriers, work in large central offices where they become the link between telephone inquiries and the computer terminal. Their work brings them in telephone contact with the general public travel agent, as well as their own company's ticket agent. Ticket agents work at airport, ticket countries, and in central city ticket offices. Their duties include answering questions about the fares, schedules handling, out timetables, and literature, checking with a reservation agent on seat availability and selling ticket. So from this, kinahanglan dyan mo i-check ang baggage para i-access nila sa ang kabukaton sa cars and necessary boarding passes. So kinahanglan sad nga direct siya sa contact with the public. So kinahanglan sad mag-wear of uniforms to represent their career employer. So the next is airline food services. Airlines have finally recognized the need for quality meals to attract potential passengers. Travelers now expect a meal on a board or at least a snack if the flight ends short. An airline may have its own food service division or arrange for a private catering service to prepare in-flight meals. The prerequisites for the position in airline food service or practical experiences in the hotel or restaurant field. So from this, kinahanglan jud sa quality meals para sa mga passengers, ilang mga snacks, mga private catering. So the next is flight dispatcher. The flight conditions gives permission for aircrafts of specific caused by weather or the crowded airspace condition. So the flight dispatcher kay need na siya ang mudala para sa siya ang mo give the permission sa mga passengers kung ma-delay ba ilang airport it's because of the weather. So the next is operation agent station ramp agent. These responsibilities of the operations and situations ramp agents are the supervision and loading of the baggage and cargo. Cargo width must be evenly distributed by this agent with the corresponding list of members and passengers recorded. These agents are also responsible for announcing arrival, departure. So, ang operation agent station ramp agent, responsibility nila para ma-operate sa mga situations sa mga ramp agent, sa mga loading o baggage, sila ang mukuhan sa mga cargo, sa mga list of members and passengers, sa mga record nila. So the next is sales managers, district sales manager. Sales manager and district sales managers oversee ticket and reservation offices, supervise representative and promote traffic on their airlines. They maintain contact with local travel agents and tour operation to keep them informed and the latest airline promotions. However, the sales manager will maintain to profit the airline on the basis of volume in these cases. So the sales manager, sila ang sales managers sa mga tickets, reservation office, sila ang madala, sila ang guide sa reservation office, supervise representative, and sa mga promote sa mga traffic and airlines. So, sila ang maintain to contact with the local travelers, tours operator. So, the next is airline lounge receptionist. The airline's receptionist admits members and guests to the airline's lounge, serves beverage and snacks, opens the door to the lounge in the response to the sound of a buzzer, verifies membership cards, admits and its member and guest answers questions regarding schedules, flights, and terminal facilities, and verifies passengers to reservation. So sila ang mo answer if naay pangutana ang mga passengers about the flights, about sa regarding the schedules of flights and the terminal facilities. So the next is the flight attendant supervisor. Supervises and coordinates to flight attendants, observes activities of employees to evaluate work performance and maintenance personnel, record, explain, and demonstrate method and procedures for performing tasks, and prepare evaluation reports on the performing of employees. So, the flight attendant supervisor, sila ang mo supervise sa mga, sila ang mo observe sa mga flight attendants nga nag-assign sa mga duties and works, mga areas nila. Then, sila ang mo check sa attendance sa mga employees kung to sa ilang mga performance and to maintain personal record. So, the next is ramp flight attendant. The ramp flight attendant checks flight attendants' conformity to personal appearance standard and performs of pre-flight duties during the boarding stage of scheduled airline flights and compiles reports of finding an aspect, appearance, and grooming of personnel for conformity to company standard. So, sa ramp flight attendant, sa kinahanglan jud nga naa kay personal appearance niya, kinahanglan nga naa kay time management sa imong work, then kanang kinahanglan ganahan din siya o confident. So, the next is crew scheduler. The crew scheduler compiles duty rosters of flight crews and maintains records of crew members, flying time schedules, airline flight, prepare flight register, which crew members sign to indicate their preference and availability to flights and time they wish to be called. Before each flight, the crew scheduler computes and logs cumulative flying time for crew members and remove crew members' names from the flight schedules when their flying time limit has been reached, and may notify crew members of assignments during that telephone. So, the crew scheduler, sila ang mo schedule sa mga passengers kung na-delay ba ilahang flight, ilahang tickets, or ang ilahang kanang sila ang ilahang assign ang mukuan sa mga members, sa ilahang mukuan sa mga notify sila sa mga passengers kung basin na delay ilahang ilahang flight. Okay, the next is flight crew time clerk. The flight crew time clerk compiles flight time records of flight officers for the payroll and crew scheduling departments to ensure accuracy of payroll and legality of flight and post data such as time in flight, time of aircraft mileage flown, which of aircraft, and flight time records using posting machine. So, it also reviews union agreement to ascertain payroll factors such as meal expenses, mga allowance, ilang mga bulleting allotment, ilang rate sa bayranan, and computes pay niya, compares figures with the flight officers. Then, kinanglansan na sila nga i-notify ilahang schedules sa mga total accumulated flight. So, the next is flight reservation manager. The flight reservation managers directs and coordinates through subordinate supervisory personnel flight reservation activities for certified commercial or transport companies, reviews flight reservation reports, and conducts comparative studies with other airlines reservation to develop method and procedures designed to improve operating efficiency and increase reservation for company flights. So, ang flight reservation managers, sila also ang mo-interpret sa mga supervisor personnel. Sila ang kuan sa mga company policies and mga procedures sa mga regarding sa mga customers. Then, and also sila ang contact sa mga public para kuan sila sa mga relations, diba? Sa mga customers, sa mga public. So, and also sila ang kuan model sa mga package para ma-estimate sa mga reservation. Then, the next is gate agents. The gate agents assess passengers and check flight tickets at entrance gates as stations when boarding or disembarking airplanes of commercial airlines, and examines passengers' tickets to ensure that passengers have the correct flight or seats or direct passengers to correct boarding areas using passengers' manifest, seating charts, and flight schedules. So, sa gate agent, sila ang mo-check sa mga flight sa mga passengers. Ana sila sa gate, sila ang mukuan sa mga entrance. So, kanang ilahan ang i-check ilahang ticket. Then, sila ang mo-verify sa mga names sa mga passengers, sa mga mo-separate sila sa mga passengers, sa mga tickets, mga thumbs or mga marks tickets or mga issues boarding passes. Yan na. So sila pud ang kanang ilang i-check kung naay disabled sa mga ilang tickets or disabled passengers. Mo na sila ang mo check para ilang kanang especially sa mga nag-wheelchair sa kanang mga moving passengers na. So ilan na sila ang mo check ana kung asa na sila ma-assign dapit mulingkod. So the next is gate services supervisor. The gate services supervisor supervises and coordinates activities of workers engaged in a meeting departing passengers to the aircraft on assisting passengers to the Bismarck terminal access of commercial airlines, reviews flight schedules and passengers manifest, observes workers to ensure that service to passengers are performed courteously and correctly. So the gate supervisor, sila ang mo check sa mga activities sa mga workers engaged sa mga like meeting sa departing passengers. So sila sad ang mo observe sa mga workers nila sa mga kanang nag-injured to service passengers. Sa mga sila ang mo kanang nag-perform ba og courteously, ang mga kanang nag-perform og tarong sa ilang work, wala pa nagbinuang. So the next is ground host hostess. The ground host or hostess renders personal services to passengers in airlines terminals to facilitate movement of passengers through terminals and create goodwill greets and welcome passengers to the terminal, answers questions and advises passengers concerning flight schedules and accommodations such as arrival or departure, time, location of concourse and gate selections of seats on aircraft assembles and forward luggage to departing flights, guides and escorts foreign speaking passengers to designate a gate for boarding of aircraft. So sa ground host hostess, sila sad ang mo facilitate sa mga passengers sa terminal. Sila ang if the passengers na ay questions about the flight, so sila ang mo kuan sa answers, sila ang mutubag ana. Then ang mga hostess kay naraman na sila sa terminal, so about sa flight mga tana. Then sa mga sila ang mo give advice sa mga passengers, sila ang mo concern about sa passengers sa travel nila nya. Sila mo so sa ground host, they need to speak English, so mag-speak to the English so regarding to entertain the customer or the passengers. So the next is passenger service representative. The passenger service representative renders a variety of personal service to airline passengers, requiring other than normal services such as taking care of company officials, distinguished persons, foreign-speaking passengers, invalid and unaccompanied children, greets and escorts distinguished persons to lounge as waiting areas, transport specials passengers between the lobby and boarding areas using electric cards, gives aids to sick or injured passengers and obtain medical assistance, access elderly persons and unaccompanied children and claiming personal belongings and baggage, prefers baby food for mothers with infant. So, as these passengers service representative, sila sad ang mo verify sa mga personal sa mga airline passengers, sila ang mo taking care sa officials yan. So sila ang mo sa ilanang mo speak sila kinahanglan jud of foreign speaking foreign passengers kay para makuha nila ang mga passengers. So the next is reservation agents. The reservation agents make and confirm reservation and routing for passengers on scheduled airline flights, arranges reservation and routing for passengers at the request of tickets, agent of customer, using timetables, airlines manuals, reference guides, and tariff book, type requested flight what, make cell phone number or keyboard of online computer reservation systems, and scan screen to determine space availability, telephones customers or ticket to agent, advise change in flight plans or to cancel a confirmation reservation. So the reservation agent, sila ang mo tawag sa imuha if imuhang flight makancel ba, then sila sad ang mukuan sa mga, sila ang mo reference guide, sila ang mo guides po kung imuhang ticket ano sa asad na ano sa imuhang flight, then basin na ay na changes sa flight plans niya, sila ang mosulti sa imuhang na cancel imuhang flight, it's because of the weather for example. So the next is senior reservation agent. So the senior reservation agent supervises and coordinates activities of workers engaged in reserving seats, space for passengers on scheduled airline flights, assign workers to tasks in accordance with availabilities and personal requirements, observe work procedures, monitors telephone calls, and reviews completed work, ensure adherence to quality and efficiency standard and to rules and regulations. For the senior reservation agent, measure rules and regulations. So kinahanglan jud siya nga sa rules and regulations nila. So kinahanglan jud siya nga mo-guide sa mga memoranda sa describing changes the reservation. So kanang ibang mga reservation sa mga method flight schedules, for example kanang imuhang flight, then kinahanglan sila ang mo kuana na mo dala para nya da kanang lain kanang record sa typewriter messages, mga telephone passengers sila ang mo call, ilhan na sila ang mukan sa service personnel, and sila ang mo obtain sa mga passengers kay for example sila ang motawag sa passengers kay na-cancel nilahang flight nya na-change ang ilang determined disposition, passengers holding reservation kana or na-cancel ang rescheduled flights, nausap ang schedule sa flights. So the next is ticketing clerks. The ticketing clerks compile and records information to assembled airline ticket for transmittal or mailing to passengers with coded data on booking card to uncertain destination, her flight's number, type of accommodation, and its route, stopover, select ticket, blank invoice, and customer account and cards, computes and records identification and clear data using tariff manual, grade table. So sa ticketing clerk, sila ang mga sila ang mo once sa tickets transmental sila ang mo sa mga information ba about sa tickets nya, sila ang mo kuan kung staff the route nga na, so and also sila ang mo kuan sa flight schedules nya, kanang the other is the kanang pin or ticket imprinter, sila ang mo separate sa mga files and copies sa mga completed tickets, sila ang mo ilang i-clips ang tickets para dili mawan, diba? Then sila sad ang mukuan sa booking cards. So the next is aircraft log clerk. The aircraft log clerk keeps record of usage and time interval between inspection and maintenance of designated airplanes. Parts encompass data from flight schedules, computes, and post amount of the time airplanes and individual parts are in the daily use of calculating machines, maintains card files for individual parts with notations of sum of time used and fact taken from inspection records, notifies inspections department when parts and airplanes approach date for inspection, including accumulated time on routing schedules. So also sila ang mo prepare sa mga reports on schedules delay. Yan na. So sila sad ang mo sa mga nag-prepare sila sa mga reports sa mga nag-delay na schedule by using the mechanical difficulties field. So the next is the airport attendant. The airport attendant periodically inspect buildings and hangars to detect the fire hazard and violation of airport regulations, examines for fighting equipment to detect malfunction and fills depleted force distinguishers, perform minor repairs on fire truck and tractor patrol airfield to ensure security of aircraft and facilities. So, for the airport attendant, so they need the record airports data such as the numbers of planes stored in hangars, so the plane landing and dispatcher, the mga numbers of passengers carried on the airplane. Muna siya sila ang nagdala na nga airport attendant, sila ang mo ihap sa mga passengers kung pila ka buok ang nagsakay sa airplane. So the next is the flight information expeditor. The flight information expeditor determines flight times of airplanes and transmit information to flight operations on air traffic command centers, evaluation to data such as weather conditions, flight plans, route delay, and en route stopovers to determine arrival and departure time for each flight using aids such as with the chart slide rule, and computer transmits identity and type of airplane flight location, time of arrival and departure, and names of crew members to air traffic command to obtain clearance for flight over restricted areas. For the flight information expeditor, sila ang notifies relevant departments of airlines of pending arrival in inbound flights to ensure that personnel are available to load or unload fuel. Sila ang mo-check if naabay kulang sa airplane or naabay sila ang mo-check sa naabay mga guba dira sa Dublin. So the next is the airport manager. The airport manager plans, directs, and coordinates through subordinate personnel activities concerned with construction and maintenance of airport facility and operation of airport in accordance with government agency or commission policies and regulations. Consult with commission members, government officials, or representatives of airlines to discuss and plan such as matters as design and development of airport facilities. So the airport manager, sila ang mo taxing and take off the patterns of virus. Sila ang sila ang kuan aircraft and accident. Kanang sila ang formulate sa mga aircraft accident, mga fire, and mga emergencies. Sila sad ang kanang ang manager, ang airport manager, mo ang minimize to interruptions sa airport operations sa like mga personal or investigating violations of aerial ground traffic regulations. Sila ang reviews investigations reports. So the next is station manager. For the station manager, directs and coordinates airline stations activities at transport stations located at airports to provide services for scheduled flight operators, review station activity, reports to a certain data required for planning station operations, direct preparation of work schedules to obtain maximize utilization of manpower and facilities, coordinates activities of passengers, reservation and ticketing. So the station manager, sila ang coordinate sa mga activities sa mga passengers reservation kanang sila ang kuan sa passenger service, mga like ramp and cargo passenger services. Sa station manager, dito jud nila ang mga passengers, dito jud nila i-direct ang kuan kanang mga preparations nila sa mga cargo manifest and plans nila sa storage of cargo and baggage abroad aircraft. So the next is Chief Airport Guide. The Chief Airport Guide supervises and coordinates activities of workers engaged in conducting guided tours at airport, arrange a tour according to interest of groups such as school children, foreign visitors, and civic or private organizations schedule tours to avoid interruptions of airport operations and minimize conditions and assign workers to guide tours. Sa Chief Airport Guide, sila ang mag-guide sa mga sila ang mo supervise sa coordinate activities of workers sa mga interest sa groups, mga sa schools, children's parents, mga private organizations, sila ang guide ana. So the next is the last one is the traffic agent solicits business from industrial and commercial firms and passengers travel business from travel agencies, schools, clubs, and other organizations, explain availability, routers, and land limits and special equipments available, quotes, fare schedules, and available itineraries offered to groups by company, acts as liaisons between shipper and carrier to obtain information for seating complements and distributes descriptive pamphlets. So for the traffic agent, nang sila ang confirm sa mga commercial, mga passengers travel business, like mga travel agencies of schools, then sila sad ang mo accept sila available sila sa mga offered to groups by company but between the shippers and the